This is where we left in the previous video by implementing the login in logic. Now let's go ahead and create a cookie and assign to the user so that the server will send that cookie into the user's browser. So how are we going to do it? Remember, we are going to generate the cookie with the login user. So it means that we are going to pass the login user into the cookie. So it means that this cookie is going to belong to the login user. So here I'm going to have one comment and I'm going to use as prepare the login user data. And lucky for us, we have it here as user found. So we are going to pass this one into the cookie. So I will say const cookie data, or I can just use the user found. That will make our life easier. The next step is that let's go ahead and then set in the cookie with the user data or the login user. So here, to be able to use cookie, we have it on res.cookies as that, supposed to be cookie. And we are going to call it as a function or method, and inside we are going to pass in 3 arguments. The first one is going to be the variable that is going to hold this data, and you can use any variable of your choice. I'm going to use user data, or you can use the login user or whatever. The second argument is going to be the user that we are going to pass into the cookie. So here as the login user will be here. So I will say the login user here. And lastly, is going to be an object that's going to be used to configure this cookie. So let me have some room here and let's continue. Well, before you pass in the configuration, let's see how to pass in the value of the login user. And for this one, it needs to be serialized. So we are going to use json.stringify. So here, I'll make use of json.stringify, and I'm going to pass in the user found. And then let's continue with the configuration. We are going to provide what is called maximum age. This option determines the expiring time of the cookie because you need to expire the cookie within some period. For this, we are going to expire it within 3 days. And this is the implementation. We bring in 3 multiply by 24 and then multiply by 60 and multiply by 1000. So this is equal to 3 days expiration. And also this property sets how long the cookie should be kept alive in the browser. The value is in milliseconds. So here it is set to 3 days. And that is 3 days multiplied by 24 hours per day multiplied by 60 minutes per hour, and then 60 seconds multiplied by minute, and we're going to multiply by 1000 milliseconds. The next property is going to be HTTP only. So here we will say HTTP only, and we are going to use true. This option is a security feature that helps to prevent cross-site scripting, and that is XSS attacks. When it is set to true, it prevents client-side scripts from accessing the cookie. This makes the cookie less vulnerable to XSS attacks. So here, I'm going to provide what is called secure, and we are going to use false. This option ensures that the cookie is sent over HTTPS connection only, adding a layer of security. When it is set to true, the cookie will only be sent in a secured context. And since it is set to false here, it allows the cookie to be sent over unencrypted HTTP connections as well. This might be set to false for demo or development purposes, but it is recommended to set this one to true in production environment. So next is going to provide what is called same site, and we are going to use strict. And this option controls when the cookie should be sent with cross-site request. It helps to mitigate cross-site request forgery, and that is CSRF attacks. The strict value means that the cookie will only be sent in the first-party context. That is, if the site is the same as the one in the browser's address bar. It won't be sent along with requests initiated by third-party websites. So these are the configurations of the cookie. So now let's see how it's going to be sent to the browser. So as soon as the user is logged in, we are going to assign the cookie data into the user. And this data is going to be sent into the user's browser. So now let's see the flow one more time. Going to log in with this. And after logging in, where we have username undefined here, so let's go ahead and comment out this one for now. I'll start. And let me try again. Unless I save it, and let me get back here, home, and try again. Where username is not defined. Oh, sorry, I think I need to remove this. Yeah. Like that. And let's refresh it. As you can see, let me log out. Let me try again. Get started and log in, and I'm on the dashboard. With this one, we have created a token. So if you open the console, inspect, and then click on console. And to access the token, click on application. And in case you didn't see this tab, you can click on this drop down and you're going to see the application. So click on that and let's expand this. Over here, we have the storage and we are going to use the cookies. So click on this tab. As you can see, we have our URL here. And if I click on that, now we have something beautiful being saved inside the browser. And this is what we call the cookie. Now, let's explore the properties. This is a value that we set inside the server. In this case, it's going to be this. And then you pass in the user along with the cookie. So it means that this cookie represents the login user. And this is the value for the cookie. And then the next one going to be the domain. We are on the local host and the path is / and when this cookie will expire. And the size, and we use HTTP only, and secured here is false, and for the same site we use strict, and for priority it is medium. The takeaway here is understand how the cookie is being saved inside the browser. So now this cookie represents the login user because we have the username here and the password as that. For this one, it is not advisable to save the password in the cookie. So you can restructure the user found and ignore the password. But since we are playing around, let's maintain this flow. The takeaway here is understand how to create the cookie. Now, here comes the next concept. In case we want to access protected endpoint, in this case, dashboard, how are we going to do it? Let's continue in the next video how to protect this endpoint, unless the user sent the cookie along with the request. Let's continue in the next video.